Hey, welcome to HoopSpeak Live. I'm Beckley Mason. With me is Ethan Sherwood-Strauss and Zach Frijoles-Harper. And big news today is that the mediator seems to be making some progress. Owners have announced through David Aldrich that there's some sort of agreement on revenue sharing that would bump revenue sharing up from about $60 million annually to $150 million. But we've got more important things to talk about because I was in the Bay Area early this week and this weekend and got to hang out with Ethan and John Krolik in person and even was treated to a fried turkey dinner at Ethan's mom's. That was just lovely, Ethan. Thank you for the invite.
It was a delightful, if not awkward, time, and I will say that you comported yourself nicely, even sending an email to my family. Beckley is nothing if not a distinguished gentleman.
I am a Eddie Haskell if there ever was one. Zach, are you jealous? Fried turkey?
You know what? I am a little jealous because I was in New York while you were in New York, and you declined to come meet up with us. So yes, I am a little jealous.
You were in New York for your girlfriend's birthday, and you couldn't do HoopSpeak Live. I was in New York, and I did HoopSpeak Live.
I didn't bring a computer!
You didn't bring a computer? What kind of a person are you?
Have you ever tried to travel these days? It's very hard to smuggle a computer in.
I travel regularly for my job. Anyway, you guys had a lively debate on Take the Bacon. Or not on Take the Bacon. Dang it! I ruined it! You had a lively debate on Twitter that we're going to carry over to Take the Bacon regarding Rajon Rondo, who came in at 17 on ESPN's NBA rank, something that we all voted for. But Ethan said he might not be top 40. So you two will be fighting for the bacon. I will be judging. Let's bring in our two contestants to the Thunderdome.
I'm going to go first because I need to establish ground rules, and I want to establish how Zach and his Twitter friends tried to bully me for going against conventional wisdom, and there you go. That's illustrative of what I'm talking about. I said that Rajon Rondo was too high at 17, and that he might is huge here, might not be a top 40 player, which, considering that he's 69th ranked in PER last year, I don't think that's a stretch. I think you can say he might not be top 40, and that he's overrated. There are many guys ranked below him who are better. Josh Smith at 43, for example. It's way too high. I want to hear your response, Zach.
All right. First of all, if you're just going to base this all off of PER, and I believe the first stat you gave to me yesterday was points per game, which the Monte Ellis fan within you is just shining through. I'm going to have to say that it's just kind of ridiculous because PER doesn't really measure what he does in terms of running a top-notch team in the NBA, both offensively and defensively. They're not a great offensive team, but that's not necessarily his fault. He puts so much pressure with his passing and with his ability to get to the basket on the defense. He runs that team extremely well, considering they don't really have elite scoring options anymore. Ray Allen's great, spotting up for jumpers. Paul Pierce is kind of an isolation maven. That's really all he's good for anymore. You can't really run him off anything. KG is almost non-existent at this point in his career offensively compared to what he used to be, and yet they're still a pretty decent offensive team. Defensively, he may be as important as Kevin Garnett to what they do. His ability to put pressure on the ball handler at the top of the defense, the way he creates steals, the way he creates pressure, the way he rebounds, he's just a very incredible basketball player. I agree that 17 is way too high, but to say he might not be top 40 just seems asinine, considering he did all of this stuff last year with plantar fasciitis, which is one of the more debilitating injuries you can play with.
Well, I'm not saying that PER is the end-all, be-all, just that when somebody is ranked at near 70 in PER, you can say, hey, maybe he's not top 40. Also, if he's so important to their offense and so great for their offense, why did the Celtics only, they were tied for 18th, I believe, in offensive efficiency last year? And I would also say, for all the talk of Rajon Rondo and his defense, I don't think that point guard defense matters that much. It does have an impact, but it's the least important of all the positions. And I think he's only had 1 year of a positive impact on defensive adjusted plus minus. As problematic as that stat is, it's not clear he's having a huge impact like someone like, for instance, Josh Smith. So I think that
Josh
you
Smith.
can bring up the question. I don't particularly Josh Smith. I don't know if he's top 40 or not, but I think that it is very fair to say that he might not be top 40 given all that evidence.
The problem with that is, I agree that point guard defense can be very overrated, but it depends on the system. With the way he plays the pick and roll, with the way you can't really isolate against him, with the way he creates turnovers, he's just very important to that defense. And you could say that within the Lakers system, Derek Fisher, it doesn't matter if he's a good or a bad defender because they have ways to make up for that. The Celtics don't have that. There's a reason they got rid of, Carlos Arroyo. There's a reason they need guys who can play defense at the top of the key because they depend on that,
so
especially in recovery.
It's system dependent now.
For certain teams, it is.
It's system dependent now. All of a sudden,
I'm pretty sure they don't give unimportant defenders, aside from Kobe Bryant, all defensive teams. That's you. And Rob Mahoney agrees with me on this. And Rob Mahoney's smarter than anybody at basketball.
Okay,
relax
on Rob Mahoney on this. You can't bring him in as an expert witness to fight your battles.
The hell I can't!
Listen. Here's how you guys both brought up good points. I need each one of you to come down on one side of this. Zach, what number would you give Rondo out of the top 40? And Ethan, where would you place him?
Minimum
Zach,
of 30.
go first.
30 at the worst.
Okay. That's don't do at the worst. Give me what you actually think he is, Zach.
Okay, 30.
I'm nailing you. This is like Bill O'Reilly.
I'll nail you back.
30?
30.
Okay, Ethan.
So you were this incensed over. I would put him at 38. I would put him a little bit under that top 40 cutoff, but when you're that close to it, you can say maybe not a top 40 player. I'm putting that out there. I believe in it, and I blame you for leading young Rob Mahoney astray. Really, just an ugly thing that's happened. I lament it.
All right, so this is interesting. Here, I think Zach is closer in his actual ranking, but I think Ethan has done a really interesting job of moving the discussion so far from 17 all the way to 30. That's actually closer to 40 than when we started. So it's an interesting paradigm here.
But I never said his rating was accurate.
Down on it. You know what? I'm penalizing you for that hat and headphone combination.
It's freezing here. It's 50 degrees.
You're the winner. Zach, I'm sorry, but you're going to have a chance to either agree or disagree with Ethan some more
disagree.
in our next segment, which is rumors from Ethan's head, and it's a very personal rumors today, I've heard. Ethan, what do you got?
It's very personal, and it makes me uncomfortable. Right now, I sometimes get emailed by people who don't like what I write, for good reason, honestly. I can't blame them, but they say, how did you get this job with ESPN? Well, I don't have one. I do the occasional freelance piece for them, and I write for the True Hoop Network, but this is my real job, and I'm afraid that HoopSpeak Live is going to eventually get me fired some way, somehow. I mean, yes, I did talk to HR, and they did let me do this webcast during my lunch break, but at the same time, we're talking about all sorts of crazy issues. We're going to be talking off the tops of our heads about race later. It just seems like a precarious situation, and I know it's just going to come to a bad end. So that's my rumor, guys.
Well, I think that it's worth noting that Ethan works at Yelp, and so if he does get fired, he's going to be able to post like a really mean review about them and hopefully push people away from other people getting hired there. So he has a vindictive avenue. He has people on the inside.
You're making this rumor a reality, Beckley.
I'm going to say that it's not going to happen because I don't think no one can prove that Yelp has ever fired anybody. So I think Ethan's stuck there.
Or they're stuck with me.
Yeah, one or the other. Well, Ethan, are you in the room where you can see the sunbathing people on the pool next door?
I don't know what you're talking about, Beckley. I don't know what you're talking about, Beckley.
Ethan's even a bigger voyeur than James the Peepin' Herbert.